In case you missed it, there was a really big fight on CNN between Anna Navarro and conservative Shermichael. Things got heated and she completely blew up on him. Let's check it out.
No, I know you're not. If you come into this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as that. We do not have unlimited resources.
I think a lot of Americans
to take care of other people.
There's a hell of a lot of people other than the black people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They're not the same as black people who were brought here against our will.
That's exactly what I just said. I said there is a lot of people
There's a big difference. There is a big difference.
That's exactly what I just said.
There's a big difference.
That's exactly what I just said, Shermichael. You can act indignant. That's exactly what I just said.
Yes, it is. Let me just Shermichael.
Other than the black
Anna and Shermichael.
There are a lot of people from
Shermichael, I think you actually misheard what she. I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard.
She said.
I purposely misheard. So now you're in my brain.
Shermichael, listen to me for just a second.
Is that where we're going?
Shermichael, I would say I will have advocated for black people my entire life and say something like that.
Because you've advocated for black people, great. Congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black. You're not.
Okay, Shermichael.
That's right. I'm Latino, and my people are being racially profiled.
It is.
And do I have to remind you the history of my people?
Shermichael,
do I want to go there?
I don't.
Do you really want to go there?
Raul, we're going to go to break. Raul Reyes, thank you very much for joining.
Wrong is wrong. If you come here illegally, you should be deported. You need to leave race out of it, especially since both struggles are not the same. One has nothing to do with the other. If you come here illegally, you should be deported. You can make your point without bringing up slavery in any context. I feel like Anna Navarro owes Shermichael an apology, specifically for bringing this up, regardless of the context. That's how I feel about it. Here is Jesse Waters absolutely roasting Jessica Tavlov, and he does it more than once. We're going to look at both clips right here.
And then he has tattoos on his hand that spell MS-13.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Read the symbolism, Jessica. What are you, a gang detective? Cut it out. And then he's wearing paraphernalia that says the slogan for MS-13. And then he gets caught up in a gang sweep with ranking members of MS-13 as a part of a murder investigation. And then gets pulled over and he's suspected of human trafficking. Then gets accused of slugging his wife twice, and she has it on video. And suddenly his name isn't Maryland Dad, it's Due Process. Mm-hmm. You transitioned pretty quickly, Jessica.
Think about this. The guy who refers to himself as the world's coolest dictator is uncomfortable with what we are doing to people. This isn't about deportations. This is about sending people to a foreign prison camp without getting a hearing and without being convicted of anything. And that's why Americans' public opinion on the immigration policy has shifted.
The conviction is not the requirement.
Nemi said don't go down to El Salvador anymore. Just for the record, Jesse,
no one else is going. No one else is going because it's stupid. And I'm sorry, Jessica, I love you, but I don't believe anything you say anymore. You're wrong about everything. Every time you come up with these things, first he's a Maryland Dad, then actually he does have tattoos that spell MS-13. Yeah, and then there's this other tattoo expert that you have. I thought we were supposed to trust the experts, right? And all these experts say this guy's a gangbanger, and you don't trust the experts. Let me ask you this. When a guy hangs out with MS-13 and gets picked up in a gang sweep, how is it that the MS-13 ranking gang members are allowing a non-gang member to hang out with them? That's like when, the feds raid a Gambino gambling den. And do you think it would be believable if some Italian guy was like, I'm not in the mob? Yeah, they're just letting random guys play cards in a gambling den with a bunch of mafioso. Use your brain, Jessica. And I don't even believe you're this 2-year-old nonsense. Oh, you just listen to what the lawyers for these migrants tell you. And then the day later, it's all wrong.
If you get value from this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, please buy us a cup of coffee. We would deeply appreciate it. Link in the description below. And for those on TikTok, please don't forget to like, follow, and add this video to your favorites. Share with a friend. We would deeply appreciate it. Yes, we're still talking about this. But now there's body cam footage of Kilmar Abrego-Garcia where he was detained on suspicion of human trafficking. Let's take a look.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good, and you?
All right.
Anything good?
You got a bunch of people in here, don't you?
It's 1 for sick. Yes. Go back to work.
Gotcha. Where are you working at?
Where?
Where?
San Luis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm from Maryland.
Where do y'all live at?
Where I living? I live in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah, also.
Whose vehicle is it?
What, excuse me?
Whose car is it?
It's to my boss.
Your boss?
My boss, yeah.
Where's he live? Where's your boss live?
My boss right now is staying in Maryland, but he lives in Texas.
Okay.
Houston, Texas.
After talking to Kilmar, the officers had no doubt he was trafficking.
You know what you got here, right? He's hauling these people for money. You got an ass hauler, is what he's doing. But sometimes they commingle dope. No, what? There's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland, I would say, if I had my guess.
He said they all work together. That's what he's telling me, but he's the only one that knows English.
So let me ask you this. They don't have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're going to have a toothpaste and they're going to have toothbrushes in their pockets, I guarantee it.
He's got $1,400 cash in his pocket in an envelope.
So in the video, you can see one of the cops making a phone call. The body cam audio cuts out for 10 minutes. Sources told us that on that call was Joe Biden's FBI, which advised police not to detain Kilmar at the time. That source also tells us Highway Patrol called Biden's ICE, and they never showed up. Biden's guys had an MS-13 gangster, suspected human smuggler and wife beater, released into the country.
Keep on with the roasting and this Maryland man stuff. It's a bunch of crap. He's not a Maryland man. He's an MS-13 gang member who has been detained for suspicion of human trafficking, whose wife had an order of protection against him for abuse. He's not a Maryland man. It's a hoax. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Big Balls.
Big Balls.
It's me. That should be obvious.
Why do they call you Big Balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
What does Big Balls do?
Right now, I'm working on some payment computer stuff. So one of our initiatives is to root out fraud and waste. And to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, like there is no accounting of what payments actually go to in the payment computer. So like you look at a specific line item, like $20 million, and you're like, okay, well, what is this money going to? And for the majority of payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know. And yeah, they're like, what?
What do you say when people just say, I don't know?
Well, it's a huge cause for concern because like the upstream thing, which is distributing the money, literally has no checks and no accountability to the actual American taxpayer. So it's a huge vector for fraud, waste, and abuse.
Do these people not respect taxpayer money?
I mean, there's no incentive to if you work in the government.
Here goes another DOGE staffer who explains just how corrupt the Department of Education spending was and what one little change did to stop the spending once and for all. It really just goes to show how deep the corruption goes.
There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education, and there was no receipts required, so people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us, they found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums, etc. And so the one change that DOGE made with Department of Education is we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so,
yes,
nobody drew down any money anymore.
Yes, but we didn't say that we'd check the receipt. You could send a fake receipt. You could send a picture of your dog. Anything.
Anything.
As soon as we asked for anything at all, suddenly the requests were like, oh, we don't need it anymore. They were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Which brings me to the question of this video. Do you feel like everything is so socially charged? Do you feel like race plays a big role in anything that goes on in the mainstream media nowadays? Do you think it's necessary for that to be included for the argument to be valid? Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section below. I'm Angel. This has been the Vasquez Report. See you later.